This is Elder Games Master James again, doing Where Winds Meet. I'm actually going to jump right into this. I did an earlier live stream from the beginning of the game. I gave some tips for jumping into the game. I realized there's so much to this game that it might be easier to bookmark this. Kind of, here was the beginning of the game in the other live stream, which is on the YouTube channel. And then here is the current, at least, opposite end of the game, the end game of it, as it were. So I will actually jump into this a bit. Now, Where Winds Meet is a free game. I actually encourage spending money on it a little bit, comparatively. They need to be able to sustain the game somehow, and I think after looking at some of this, you'll be able to see how they can sustain it, as it were. In any case, this is my endgame character. There's a lot of details that I want to go into about this, as it were, about the endgame specifically. Kind of, this is to give you an idea of what it looks like once you're at the endgame. Now, they plan, my understanding is that they plan on increasing the level for a while in this case. So this current endgame, this is March 2026. The current endgame will last about another 2 weeks, and then my understanding is that there's going to be a level cap increase. It tends to increase the level about 5 levels every few months, every season. I'm a little hazy on that in this case, but I should be getting right into it. This is actually the spot that I like coming to, where I like to log in and log out. I'm not in a bustling city full of NPCs, for example. Right up the hill from me is the Cat Temple. I may have showed this before in the other live stream. In any case, part of what I wanted to do with this was to get into, like, what are some of the abilities? What are some of the benefits that you get out of being at the end game, for example? I'll start actually with the basics, with moving around, getting around on the maps. Obviously, there's running. Now, when I mention encouraging that you may want to spend a little money on this, for example, you do get a free mount very early on. I believe about level 4 or 5, somewhere in there. They have a lot of different types of mounts for sale as well. This is technically a mount. You may recognize it from a famous martial arts movie. Okay. So there's running around, there are mounts to get around, and then once you have explored, currently at least, there are 3 different areas in the game. Once you've explored an area enough, at that point, not only is there jumping, but then there's what's known as light travel. And this is to get you around very quickly. There's actually 4 different versions of this lightness travel, as it were. This is one done with a fan, there's one done with a sword. There's 2 others, I don't remember their names offhand immediately, but this is endgame simply getting around. This is endgame mobility, as it were. Okay. Okay, getting into some of the character details. First of all, while it is a free game, if you do try it, and I do encourage that you try it for a little while, and if you are enjoying it, you may have noticed, this, by the way, is not all present when you're first starting the game. You may have noticed that in my other live stream. A lot of these details, they actually build up to end game content. Like, once you've hit maximum level at that point, all of this has opened up for you at that point. I want to talk about the game being free. They have a battle pass. They have two versions of the battle pass, actually. They have a premium version and then they have a basic version, effectively. These these give you items. Sometimes, like, you'll receive points just for logging in, for example, during a day. Some of these help. You can get these in many other ways in the game. Okay. But things like, okay, cosmetics. Oh my goodness. I need to talk about the fashion show part of this after this. Uh, but in any case, basic money. This is actually very useful for one of the ways for improving your character. The Battle Pass surprise. This ties in with cosmetics a bit, for example. I was actually looking for a specific type of chest. Inner ways. These are very useful as well. And did I mention the cosmetics? That outfit actually can be earned by progressing through this battle pass, the outfit that you can see on this. Fashion, actually, cosmetics, fashion, those are a big part of the game. It is a major way in which the game encourages you to spend money for it to sustain itself, in this case. The game itself is free. It does need some way to sustain itself. Battle Pass, obviously I encourage, if you're going to get a Battle Pass, and they're two different price points, I do encourage the premium one. It is up to you if you wish to. The game can be played free, though, as a heads up. I'll just go to appearance. For example, I'll talk about the shop after this, but under appearance, if I go to appearance, for example, okay, so many ways you can outfit your character, let alone you can change the appearance of your weapons as well. Scenarios, these are the backgrounds, for example. Did I mention there's multi? And some of these I've earned in the game, like that Maple's Repose, I've earned in the game by doing things, for example. The mounts, these, I'll talk about that boat in a moment. Okay, exploration rewards. Here's the free mounts, for example. Okay. And I'll mention that outfit that you see on me now is tied to the boat, actually. But there are free mounts in the game. The premium mounts that you can buy for, they call it, I believe, what is it? Echo something. Echo beads, I think, specifically, is the real world currency, effectively. These mounts, okay, this one looks very fancy. This is actually one of my more favorite mounts, very specifically because these ones do have slightly different abilities than just the basic mount. This horse will literally allow you to pick up things, plants and ores, for example, that are within a certain radius of you. And there I go, grabbing the boat outfit again. Again, I'll talk about the boat in a moment, but this one is just fun. This running around and ground sliding one, for example. This is technically a mount. Give me a second. I need to go back to my normal appearance here. I mean, some of these are just fun. Being pulled by a dog, being chased by a leopard, for example. And not just one goose in this case, but you can have a whole flock of geese. These are mounts you would have to buy with cash, for example. Now, cosmetics. 95, 99% of the benefits for spending money in the game is about cosmetics. The robe, for example, that I'm wearing, the glasses that I'm wearing. There is a medical glass that you can wear over one eye that is included. You can get as a reward in-game. I liked how these glasses looked. I liked how that robe looked. And they were pieced together, so. Okay. Enough with the geese. Okay. So going back to it. Cosmetics, fashion, huge part of this game. This is where you're going to spend a lot of money if you're going to be spending money in the game. Okay. The weapons, I'm talking about, and oh my goodness, each of these can have an item put in them. There actually is a fashion score even involved in these type of involved in this. What I really want to talk about though, uh, this right here, this is that's not a model of a boat in the game. That actually is a boat that someone can buy. Some people say that to actually get all of the pieces, to get it completely functional, this will cost a lot of money. Tens of thousands of dollars, if not thousands of dollars, for example. And that is an outfit that is included with said boat. The boat is not just a boat to ride around on, however, it's actually a boat where you can run events, for example. It's for those for anyone that might be wondering why can this game be offered for free? This is arguably the high-end example of, I mean, they call them whales, both in casinos and in games, where you have people that are willing to put down a lot of money, a lot of money, and this is how the game can be free. You have, you literally have an object in the game, an event that players can buy that they will run themselves, and they basically host a party on their boat. I don't know if anyone will be doing that within the next during this hour that I will be running. Normally it's in the multiplayer version over here in that case. But the game is free. There are whales taking care of it. I do encourage spending a little bit of money on the game to show appreciation if you're enjoying yourself with it. I am getting a little bit ahead of myself. I've already shown getting around. Let me actually get into fighting in this case. Now, campaign challenges are basically individual bosses that you can solo. Outposts, I'll give an example of an outpost. I'll show you me clearing an outpost, one of many, obviously. Heroes Realm, this is dungeon boss fighting. This is group fighting. In this case, you can see this is set for 10 players, for example. This is smaller dungeon boss fighting, effectively. This is for smaller groups. One thing I do want to mention. I'm going to get into a fight, and then I really need to break down some of the end game ideas specifically. Now, for me personally, and you may be noticing, like, there's weapons listed at the bottom. These are rewards. The claim cost, that is an energy resource, as it were. They call it an energy point system, effectively. A new season, by the way, has just started, I believe, yesterday. This is a really good time to get into this game. The reason I have more energy than why I have 670 energy of 550 is because when I logged in for the first time yesterday, they went, "Here, have a lot of energy." And I went, "Thank you. I will take that." It does regenerate slowly. You get about 160 to 180 energy a day. You tend to spend it in factors of 20, like 20, 40, 60. If there's a special event going on, you may be able to even spend 80 on it. In any case, I'll show you what an endgame fight looks like. Notice under this God of Avarice, this is my favorite boss. Part of the reason he's my favorite boss is for the weapons that I'm using, where it says RCMD, that's a recommended armor type for the weapons and armor that I like personally. Whichever weapons and armor, as you're going through the game, whatever type of weapons and armor you wind up liking, these bosses give the possibility of different gear that is related to the type of the type of martial arts you like, as it were. This person happens to give armor that I like. There actually is a whole quest line, a whole storyline that it takes to get to him, and the stories are beautiful. Even even the new, like yesterday, I will not go into spoilers, but some of the cutscenes are amazing. Okay, I'm not going to explain a lot of what I'm doing. In this case, I'll explain it a little bit. This is my healing weapon. This is my primary damage weapon. I also have martial arts. Those are that L1, those black and white abilities that are being shown. And this is a god. This is a god of greed, a god of avarice. This is more of what it starts to look like at Endgame.
Prosperity be yours!
Now, I'm actually not using some of the individual martial arts so much as the weapon martial arts right now. The combos that you can get... Oh, give me a second. Now, there would actually be a whole... And he might actually be able to get to it. There's a whole phase that I'm trying to keep him this right here. I'm trying to get him... There we go. There's a whole extra phase involved in this, but this is to give an idea of what endgame fighting can look like. I didn't even use many of the mystic arts. This was primarily me using my weapons. This is effectively the treasure chest where I can claim rewards. And notice I can claim one, and it's going in increments of 20. I can claim one randomized version of this. I can claim double rewards. I can claim triple rewards. Now, I have an overabundance of energy right now. I will actually claim a triple reward. I'm not going to go into every little detail of all of those rewards you see, but they are very useful. And at this point, I have about 4 minutes to get out of here. Now this will put me in the city, and the city is massive. There's a lot of people. I will be surprised if it doesn't put me in the city at night. I believe that's generally... By the way, this is the solo mode. I haven't even gone into the multiplayer world at this point. Yes, it is indeed nighttime in this case. Okay. Let me get into some of the in-game details. Let me dive into some of the game mechanics. Let me basically lift up the engine and show it to you in this case. I'm going to go to develop. Okay, I happen to be under titles, under talents rather. So many different areas for this in this case. Let me start with this part here. I cannot cover all of this within an hour. I'm just going to skim through it. Hopefully you find this helpful in this case. I'll actually start on the right-hand side too. Current build, currently as of March 2026, between 22,000 and 24,000 is considered a kind of the end game benchmark you want to be working toward. Although now that the new area is out, that number is probably going to increase within the next couple weeks if you're not seeing this live at the moment. But this is a general benchmark. You can fake this number a bit just by throwing in your best gear, your best mystical arts, and just because this number is high doesn't necessarily mean the player is good, as a heads up. They do measure this not only by weapon strength, but by goose strength. Geese are no joke in this game. They are brutal. And so this is another reason, for some strange reason, that they decide that here's how you can measure your power, by the number of geese you are as powerful as. I prefer to measure it by weapons. Details. This is combat details alone. Basic stats. Like some of this should be obvious But do you see how many different stats? I'm not even at the bottom of the list yet. And again, I'm just skimming this at the moment, but there are a lot of different variations, like especially once you get to endgame, especially when you want to start zeroing in on exactly the details that you want. This is an area I encourage you to take a hard look at and study in depth. These are buffs that I've picked up along the way. As you can tell, not a small list exactly. This second one are exploration attributes, and these, I mean, literally elegance. I got this so high from finding kittens to pet, for example. And the gourmet mode is you find food vendors and then you taste their food about 9 times ish. Eight, some people would say 8. Resolve, resolve is done with pitch pot. Perception, oddities. I do need to talk about oddities. Uh, Archery, oddities also. Gift of gab. There's 2 professions in here. There's healing and there's speaking. Effectively, there's scholar or speaking. There are musical instruments you can play. Constitution helps to increase your it's your hardiness effectively. This is not only are there cats to pet in the world, there are cat puzzles to do, and that would be this. Again, I'm starting to delve into details, and I need to go back to skimming. This is about exploration. These stats help you earn these special abilities, things like effortless swimming, for example, body of diamond. A lot of these, I mean, this is you can understand animals, for example. This is all, these are exploration skills, quite literally. Constitution, if one of these is sick, there is a doctor's place, and actually I will head to the doctor as soon as I leave this screen, as soon as I'm done with this, to show you where you can have. There's one place that I know of where you can go to NPCs. It'll cost about 10,000 coins, and they will cure an illness for you. If if you don't want them to do it, there are bounties that can be done where you can hire people to do these things as well. And this is how honorable are you. I like to stay as outstanding as possible. You can get thrown in prison. You can have NPC citizens falsely accuse you, which is why I don't like logging out in cities or going AFK for extended period in cities, because some of the NPCs will be like, this person stole from me and you were just standing around, for example. So in any case, there's an honor stat in that. That goes into the details. Again, I need to get back to skimming. Path guide, for example. These are each effectively kind of a pre-built classes for you. If you want a tank, they suggest, okay, use these weapons, for example. If you want a melee DPS, there's both single sword, for example. Yes, this is Nameless Sword, Nameless Spear. And then there is, like, oh, and actually the Strategic Sword. I'm sorry, it's down under, this is the one, I believe, with dual, yes, twin blades and the rope dart, for example. You don't have to follow these class guides, but if you want this to be easier and you have a type of weapon, like you like using 2 weapons, you like using a sword, you like, yeah, in my case I'm using an umbrella, for example. I still do encourage you for that first free weapon. I showed it in my first live stream. You pick up a free weapon from a weapon style specifically from the first oddity vendor in the game. I still highly encourage a healing weapon, the fan, because it is a healing weapon, and then you don't have to mess around with healing foods and so on and so forth, and consumables effectively. You can just use the fan. You can always have the fan as a third backup. I don't know. Down in the lowest corner there's a build management where you can have favorite builds, for example. And literally these are all custom builds. Uh, I won't get it. Obviously, I've considered tanking in this case as well. What I'm using is not considered a standard build. I actually have the fan which does healing, and then I have the umbrella, which is ranged DPS. This is, and then in addition to ranged DPS, there is always archery as well. In any case, let me go back to this just a little bit longer, and okay, some more of the end game details. You get to pick. At this point, there's easily over a dozen different weapons. I haven't even found this one. You can find every weapon. You can build up every weapon. You may have seen, I've tried a couple of different weapons. For example, that's the healing version of the umbrella, for example. There's the twin blades. Spears, swords and spears tend to work well together. This is the current tanking sword, for example. But it's also encouraged to have a spear used with it, for example. This is the normal fan that would be used for range damage instead, but again, I like having a healing weapon as my offhand weapon. But even if you just have the healing weapon as like like go to build management, give yourself a after combat build where once you're done with combat, put on the after combat build, heal yourself completely back up, then go back to your normal build after that, for example. So in any case, weapon martial arts. I need to take a step back. No, I will go this way. I'll start with abilities. I'll just go across the board, and I'll try and go faster because, again, I'm going into way too much depth about this. Martial arts, weapons, at low level, figure these out. Okay. Inner ways are non-weapon martial arts. Or, I'm sorry, these are buffs. Mystic skills are the non-weapon martial arts. So you have weapon martial arts. You have these inner ways which buff the weapon martial arts primarily, but can also buff other aspects of the game. I'll touch on this in a second. Mystic skills are the non-weapon martial arts. Like when I was charging forward and I was jumping on that one boss's head, for example, that was one of these mixed in with my weapon martial arts. And at the very beginning of the game, you get Tai Chi, for example, which is actually shown in that mystic skills area. Eventually, you get like 8 of them. You can use 8 different non-weapons. You have all your your 2 weapon martial arts. Actually, I will show some of these in this case. Tai Chi, Celestial Seas, takes weapons. Cloud Step was what I was using against that boss, for example. I don't even have Toad. Lion's Roar. Guardian Palm. Talon Strike I like the idea of. These two apparently work together. Dragon's Breath and then Drunken Poet work really well together. This is a dragon attack. I understand it's really good, but it also... Vitality is the stat that you use for it, and 100 Vitality is a lot. Blinding Mist. This is for PvE, for example. Serene Breeze. This stops crowd control on you. This highly recommended. Serene Breeze. If you're going to take a martial art, especially if you're doing PvP, take Serene Breeze. Actually, it's a goose attack. This one's nice and relaxing. It's fireflies around you. This is stealth. I haven't even gotten ghostly steps yet. These...
自当与尔偕行. 自当与尔偕行.
These are... You literally can partner up in this game. So these are the non-weapon martial arts. Inner ways buff both weapons and in general. The 4 that I'm using specifically, this one is for my umbrella. That's why it's listed. The 4 spots on the left-hand side, those are the ones of these I have active. You do have to unlock these as you're progressing through the game. So my suggestion is find the weapons you like, find the mystic skills that you like, and then go down through here, or as you're progressing through the game, go down through here and unlock the inner ways that you like. Some of them, a lot of them actually, you'll unlock just as you're progressing through the game. But in this case, this one is umbrella specific for the umbrella weapon I'm using. This, a lot of people swear that overall, like just if there's one inner way to get, it's this one on that, because it helps with healing, it helps with damage. This is a minor damage buff. It's been okay. I may swap it out at some point. For just solo world play, there is a shadow assault that will simply end NPCs, and when I get to the outposts in a minute, I'll show you the shadow assaults that I'm using. It is just shadow assault. I will show you how I use it to very quickly clear an outpost. Can only be done in solo mode though. This isn't something you can do in PvP or anything, but it's a way to very quickly end fights. If I'm going up against a boss or I'm working with a group, I will normally take this out because this is more of a solo skill, and I will substitute this for it, which is if I suddenly take so much damage that I'm nearly dead, all of a sudden I will get a health shield, as it were. This is actually a tanking skill, effectively. But my normal loadout for solo play is what you see there. And again, a lot of people would swear Morale Chant, at least at the moment, is one of those really good all-around inner ways to use. Okay, so that's abilities. Weapon martial arts, inner ways, and mystic martial arts, effectively non-weapon martial arts. For gear, you may notice that I have it all golden at this point. That's why I'm above 22,000 for my weapon score at this point. I have my weapons where I want. The middle abilities are random. And again, early on I suggest finding weapons that you like, using them, and deciding on them. And then, let me go back to this actually. And then this, where it says Mist Willow set, for example, there are a number of types of weapon sets and armor sets. Find an armor set and a weapon set that you like. These and weapons that you find that you like that are not the right armor set or weapon set can be changed over a bit. Like you get, I think it's maybe a half a dozen free conversions for weapons or armor to change over to a different. And these are 2-piece and 4-piece sets, for example. And the 4-piece sets for the weapons are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the 4-piece set for weapons. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the 4-piece set for these. And then bow, and this is effectively an archery ring, a thumb ring. These two, so effectively your gear is split up into 3 different sections. Weapons, armor, bow. Okay. But getting back to the 4-piece set, for example, and again, my suggestion, and I won't go into a lot of details about this, look at the weapons and armor that you want in the long term for Endgame, and pick like a 4-piece set of armor and a 4-piece set of weaponry that you like, and run with those. Now, as you are leveling up, I'll get to enhancement in a moment. Actually, I'll talk about enhancement now. As you're leveling up, these are very minor enhancements. Notice this right here. This is one of those jade pieces I was talking about. You actually can find this. I mean, right there it says open world exploration. You can find this out in the open world. And at the beginning of the game, you don't even need that. At the beginning of the game, you just need some coins. But these are minor enhancements. Keep these about even. Okay. Like mine says 36. To be fair, I took this up to 40, which is the maximum you can put this at the moment. But notice for the rest of it, like 35, 35. The average level, I believe, is what counts towards your weapon mastery. If you have one item that's really high up and all the rest of them low, the weapons are not going to count as much. And very specifically, like this helps with this helps with the attacks with my right-hand weapon. This helps with the attacks of and healing of my left-hand weapon, for example. Okay. And I'm starting to deep dive into, but that's enhancing. Okay, so you have gear, you have enhancing that gear. Now, as you're leveling up, this arsenal is where you put your old gear. And I actually had a problem with this. While you're leveling up, okay, you need to have a minimum total mastery listed. And by mastery, we're talking about that 177 on this fan, for example. Okay. Those numbers get added up for level 51, you want to beat 1,000 to be able to then put this your old weapon set, your level once you're trying to work towards your level 56 stuff, you're going to put your level 51 stuff in this arsenal. Okay? And then you'll gain benefits from doing that. Okay? When you're done with your level 56 stuff. And notice, by the way, I've got some blue and purples in here. That one's okay. When you get to level 56, you want to kind of be focusing on having purples that you can then put in this arsenal to then get the bonus. Again, minor bonuses, but still, every little bit. In this one, I do have some blues, but I also have some golds, which are offset. And by the way, power levels we're talking about. Blue, I'll put it this way. Gold is better than purple is better than blue. So, for example, I have a couple gold in here that are offsetting the couple blues that I have in 61. And now, at 71, it's mostly golds, some purples. When they increase the level in 2 weeks, and I have my level 86 gear. I imagine that's what they're going to. Then I will arsenal my level 81 gear, which in this case is all gold. So arsenals, your old gear matters a little bit still. Divine Craft, and this is somewhat important. This, and just real quick, fire will do more damage and burn people. Water will slow people. This is, in other games, this would be freezing. It's not freezing, it's slowing on that. Although, in the near future, this water Divine Craft may lead to freezing. And then poison actually does key damage, and key, when you run out of key, or effectively, is when you can have a finisher applied to you. They call it an execute, I believe, but it's a finisher. That when you would see and I've talked about this before, there's that square that comes up, and you have the opponent kneeling on the ground. Well, I don't know about Serene Breeze in PvP. I have to admit, most of my experiences with solo, but when you get a boss, even when you get them kneeling on the ground like that, this is a faster way to do that. So the current Divine Crafts, which then lead to talents. If you like fighting bosses, you actually can gain talents specific for fighting bosses. If you like PvP, here's a specific PvP arena talents. For me, I like the basics. I have a lot of points because I just gained a lot of points experiencing the new chapter, as it were, and I will touch on that chapter here in a little bit. I'm saving these up, though, because currently I cannot unlock this basically until the next 2 weeks when this solo mode level 13 becomes available, and at that point I've been saving up points so that I can then spend points here. I will probably be spending points along the way. As you can see, the talent tree, especially at Endgame, gets long. And a lot of this is like, okay, precision, I won't go into precision, but precision helps with doing damage, for example. Affinity is a different way to do damage, for example. But it's not just minor buffs like this. And again, this is for solo mode. You get to be immune to one instance of damage exceeding 30%. But in order to unlock this, you have to unlock this, which means you have to unlock everything else along the way. Okay? Not everything, in a straight line for this, specifically. A real quick skim of a lot. There's a lot. There's an in-depth to this. I will talk about fashion real quick, and then I'll go up to an outpost fight. And social, this social aspect. I don't actually have a partner at the moment. I do have a friend, obviously listed as being offline at the moment. I'm not in a team. I could just randomly join somebody's co-op if I wanted. This is the social aspect. Actually, I'll go more into appearance. if you want to be exploring, if you want to hardcore spend money on this game, if you want to be changing up your appearance, fashion, it's huge in this game. There are dyes, uh, like coloring dyes, where if you don't like the color of something, you can recolor it, for example. There's a score rating for your outfits, and we're talking about, like, what is your overall score once all of these pieces are combined together effectively. Score, the scenarios, the background. You can spend a lot of money on this. I'll perfect example. I'll talk about my glass. Talk about the glasses specifically. Okay, the glasses I actually received as no, thank you. Oh, that was a limited time event reward, apparently. Okay, I actually don't suggest buying pieces individually if you can help it. What you'd really want to do... Okay, so I guess one last part about fashion. I'll hit the shop. I will talk about the one part of the shop that I suggest very much so that you spend time in. Not the real money version necessarily either. I'm talking about the different currency in the game. But this is where you can spend some serious... By the way, they do have a monthly. Like, you can subscribe monthly as well, in addition to the Battle Pass. Here's the Battle Pass part. They have a draw system, which is a gacha system, a random system, effectively. They have a new camel mount. They have different visuals for the martial arts. This would need to be purchased with real world money, though. For example, if I actually go under appearance, like, so many different types of outfits. All of these have to be bought. And again, this is fashion. This is where, if you want to be spending money on the game, this is easily where you can get it, where you can be doing. And again, if you don't like the colors that you are seeing, there are dyes, there are color dyes available in the game where you can recolor these outfits effectively. Here's where you can buy the mounts. And I guess actually, you don't just buy a camo, you can buy a trail of camels. If you are going to buy a mount, the one that I would actually suggest is this one helps you gather items in the world. It's not the only, and they each have their own. If you're just looking for a fun mount, take the running one. This one is just fun. Okay. This one's good for collecting. This one is just fun. Personal preferences I'm talking about there. Weapon appearances. The weapon strike appearances. Here, let's actually go with sword. Or how about... These are weapon martial arts appearances that'll change the appearance of how you're striking others. This is a mystic skill. That area is just individual things. There's that monthly pass I was talking about. Items. For example, if you want to... if you may have noticed, I renamed. In order to do that, I actually did have to spend real world money. Offers, discount. The exchange shop. The one shop I do highly recommend, and its currency are jadefish, which you earn just by doing things in the game, for example. But the one shop you should spend time in this game, go to offers, go to season shop. This is where, like, inner way notes, these are ways that you can improve your inner ways, which improve your weapon martial arts and mystic arts and other things, for example. This is for those slight improvements, for example. There are breakthrough points when you get up to a certain skill level, both for the mystic arts and for the weapon martial arts. This provides the materials for that, for example. There are two currencies listed up above. This one, I will mention this. This is crafting stamina. This is used for crafting. Can go up to 2,500. This this sold out bag of coins, you can use, if you're not much of a crafter, you can buy these coins with your crafting and with your crafting stamina effectively. One of the things I actually do recommend, for example, part of the free aspect of the game as well. This is that commerce coins. I believe I mentioned them last time. This is a different type of currency for playing leisure games, for example, like for playing an NPC or in chess, for example. Gear. Oh, let me go back to this. While you're still developing your gear, don't even bother with the level 16, level 41. The level 51 gear is something you want to start putting in your arsenal. You may need to fix your level 51 gear. This is a way to get it. Level 56 gear, 61, 71, 81, and I'm sure the number will just keep going. This is where you can get just random gear, which again you can attune it, you can change up the armor on it. Legendary gear, and this is a currency like when I beat that boss. This currency is what I got from beating that boss and from beating outposts, from spending energy effectively. This will give you a specific, like, this is what I want. Like, I want this armor type specifically. And this is a box that effectively will give you that. Not that one, this one. Okay, I don't want to spend the entire hour continuing going through this, but these things right here, all of them, useful. Okay. Professions, I've mentioned there's healing and there's healing and there's scholarly, healer and scholar. If you want to look into the two professions, I actually enjoy being either of these. I like doing the healing, I like doing the scholar. I will show you where you can enter into the bounty system to help people out with that. I do suggest you need to get your hand on career notebooks if you're going to be doing scholar or healer, though. You need these. You may want to take a couple of weeks and simply buy all of these out here, and then these are what are used to increase your scholar level and your healer level. These are specific scholar cards and healer cards if you actually want to do the mini games that are involved with this. Oh, look, we're back to appearance stuff. Oh. So in any case, the season shop. If there's no other shop that you deal with, go get things from the season shop. Okay, I have spent enough time on this. I wanted to mention outposts as well. There's a lot to explore. I will touch on this because it's quick. Not that. The bounties. Professions. This is where the illnesses, I showed it much earlier. There's an illness section. This is where, like, you can gain bounty coins effectively that you can then use. I mentioned standing around and NPCs falsely accusing you of stuff. Here's examples of that. This is what scholars are needed for. Healing, this is what healers are needed for. I won't delve deeper into that. This is very competitive because everyone can do these two things. So if you're going to be doing these two things and you want to be doing the bounty version of it, you got to be quick, just as a heads up. Okay, I've spent way too much time. Okay, I've already talked about the challenge campaign. Let me go take out an outpost. When you first go to an outpost, there is a story involved, at least with these first few outposts, at least for the outposts for the first two areas, where you can make the outposts easier for yourselves. I highly encourage you do that. In this case, it says I have to defeat 7 guards and I have to destroy 4 plants in this case. Let's go there. And by the way, I've mentioned before, detailed map. Okay, this is what a detailed map looks like when it's fully unlocked. The doctors. Okay, before I even go to the outpost, I gotta go to the doctor's place. This Evercare clinic, as soon as you can, unlock this. If you pick up an illness of some sort, there is a quest line involved in this place as well. But if you are ever sick, and you don't have the bounty coins to ask players to heal your sickness, you can talk to this person. This person actually Healing potions, which again I use a healing weapon, so I don't need, but this increases the number of healing potions I can use. More importantly, if I was sick, where the Uncle Tyann is part of the quest line I was talking about earlier, but normally it would say, hey, I'm ill. It will cost about 10,000 normal in-game coins to have long-term illnesses taken care of. You want them taken care of. Fix your illnesses, mental or physical, because they do get worse. They can get progressively worse and handicap your character in the long run. Okay, enough about that. I need to get to something fancier. Outposts. Outposts. There are a number of them on the map. I've already done one clear of this. Did I mention the light flying ability for getting around? By the way, there's a free version of this lightning. A free version. The light styles are free. Where I'm getting at is there's a version where it is much stricter in the direction, like your initial direction is the direction you want to go. I have under settings, there's a way to set that flying ability so that you can redirect it every time. You'll see what I'm talking about if you play the game more. Okay, in any case, I talked about in solo mode that there is basically an insta-kill effect. And this will make, like I need to take out, and actually, let me go back to Wandering Paths. I am in this outpost, and I want to track this. Okay, so now on the upper... Why is it not tracked? Oh, there we go. Now it's tracking. I've taken out one of the guards. I need to take out 6 more guards. And these plants. I won't go into why the plants need to be destroyed, but to do this outpost. You don't even have to be perfect with this. This is why I have that one inner way tied to this ability. Now, it's good for one-on-one. By the way, that red barrel you see next to me, that is explosive. It blows up. And in fact, let's go use those to take out some people. Shall we? This is actually a good representation. Now the red barrels only blow up with flaming arrows. Make sure in the lower right how I have a flaming arrow selected. Okay, now the other guards are going to be like, wait, what's going on with that? There's a signpost there. Okay, I want to slow them down a little bit, make sure the other guard gets close. And then... Oh, look, I only have one guard left now. And, of course, it's the leader for the place. I do have more plants that I've got to destroy, though. That's how easy the outposts can become. If you set the outposts up right, I mentioned there's a Divine Craft fire skill earlier. It actually does take resources, which for fire, you just have to get near a fire. Oh, he's a boss! He's done. And that's why I use that one particular inner way. What is the name of it again? That's why I use Shadow Assault right there. This outpost is effectively done. I have to destroy one more plant. Now, where that leader was... By the way, these signposts are player signposts. About half the time they can be helpful, the other time they aren't. Once you've actually done all of the aspects of the outpost, that's when a stronghold outpost reward will show up. Now that indicates I should be wrapping this up in a few more minutes, but kind of perfect timing. And again, I can get 1, double, or triple rewards. Every time I have to spend 20 more energy to do this. I will take the triple rewards, please and thank you. I'll do one more outpost to then close this out. There's 2 more things I want to talk about that are actually very important for Endgame. Okay, that recycling thing that you're seeing when I'm literally picking up a bunch of things. You can actually set up auto recycling. And for me, you may notice it says, especially because I've already got gold gear, level 81 and below, purple and below, I auto recycle that into parts that can be used for fine-tuning gear. I don't have the time at this point to go into those details. I do suggest especially if you've been enjoying this, once you get up towards endgame, you set up auto recycling for yourself. Under, where is it? Oh, here's the potions and consumables, for example, and other things as well. Okay, when you're developing your, when you've decided on the inner ways, when you've decided on the inner ways that are going to be influencing your abilities in the game, like how I am much better at that insta-kill effect in solo world, for example. These inner way notes are going to be very, very important. Okay, I actually do want to open these. And open the ones depending on this part will depend on your weapons. I'm using the umbrella. I like Silkbind. Give me 18 of these. Now, this might be self-evident. Now, from here, with those inner ways, some of the inner ways get really, really good. Really good. Okay. So from the bag, I then popped open these inner way chests effectively. Now, is it underdeveloped? I thought this should be under bag. Develop. I'm sorry. So, back in the bag, from my common items over to develop. If I click this, these are ways to improve inner ways. Down at the bottom it says recycle materials. You want to do recycling in this game. In this case, I have a lot of inner ways I'm not actively using, not going to use anytime soon. Okay, I want to recycle these into these vintage book plates. Now, before leaving the screen, if you hit triangle, you can then go to an exchange. You may see that I've already bought out all of the Silkbind in this case because that's the weapons I'm using. But under the custom set, every 5 of those book plates can become another inner way, and then this is the type. This is mostly for my umbrella. Now I've gotten more of those. And this is a rinse and repeat. You can do this until you run out of those boxes that I showed earlier. So yes, recycle these. On this screen, go back to where I can exchange those books for this. And this can literally just take you minutes in this case. And then after you're all done, and I could keep cycling, I'm not going to at the moment, but after you're all done, I believe that has actually given me enough. Yes, do you see down below where it says breakthrough 100 of 100? Now if I hit square, each inner way has a map effectively of what you can make better and better and better. In this case, I can increase critical damage by hitting the breakthrough. I had to do this. And then finally, and this is effectively the last unlock on this, I will need to get 200 of those inner ways in order to unlock 3 of, let me switch over to the weapon, this stunning ability that I have right there that can stun an enemy or freeze an enemy for a few seconds. I will have not just 1 or 2 charges, but I will have 3 of that. Okay, let me wrap up with one more of those outposts. These are rogue monks. This has been some insight into the end game that, oh, by the way, this is actually, I think this rock, if you find rocks like that, I think that's actually brass. It is. Brass is good for repairing gear. In any case, this has been an insight into the end game of Where Winds Meet. Again, it is a free game. If you are enjoying yourself, there are parts of it I encourage spending a little money on it. Oh. I messed it up. before I forget about these guys. So this is a glimpse, fairly in depth. If you did find parts of it that you like, I mean, frankly, you know what to do. This should be saved on my YouTube channel. If there was a particular part that you found very useful, I would suggest saving it. By the way, just like that, when the stronghold chest shows up, the place is done. And that's how fast the outposts can be done. And again, I have extra energy. Claim it all. I have basic gear set up for recycling. That's a look into the end game of where winds meet. Actually, one last idea. There is a new area. Where to go here? Is there an amazing visual area to this? I think this is. That'll give a good visual to end on. Again, hopefully you've had a good time joining me during this hour. It is a game that I encourage. It does have... It's free. I do encourage you to spend a little money on it, though. And it has some amazing visuals to it. Okay, again, this is Elder Games Master. I'm James. Enjoy. Have a good week and stay inspired.